Hey everybody, it's Paul Ramsey, and I'm joined again by Amye Scharlau, who is giving a 1-hour seminar. I say again because we already talked about your 2-hour, but we haven't talked about your 1 hour, which is titled Hot Flash, Hypnosis and Menopause. I need to have a little talk with you. I got a lady in my life who's dealing with this. I'm glad we're doing this, Amye. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Well, I'd be better if I didn't have this lady who 1 minute has got all the covers on her and then in the blink of an eye is kicking them all off and fanning herself and going crazy.
That's
There
it.
must be a way to manage this with hypnosis, yes?
There are ways to manage this with hypnosis. And what's really fun about this particular project that I took on is I had all these people coming to me and they're saying, I can't lose weight and I've got all this problem with these hot flashes and my sex life has gone down the drain and I can't concentrate and I can't focus. And it was like this huge epic thing. And I started realizing that this was some parts of it. And like you said, there is and are physical elements that we can really address with hypnosis, but there's also a really powerful cultural meme at work here.
Ooh, tell me more. I love memes. Tell me more
I
about
know,
that.
just like, well, like with hypnobirthing, there is this cultural idea in our country and in most Western culture that birth is the most horrible, gosh, awful, you're gonna die, it's the worst pain in the world.
Right.
And in other cultures that don't have that, birth is a very beautiful thing and it's much less traumatic. It's very natural and not easy. There is, there's elements in there, but it's much easier. And if you look at any row of magazines, anything that we've been fed our entire lives in this country, they will just, every magazine is like, menopause, the weight you can't lose, menopause, menopause. And it makes it sound like this horrible thing. And it's like looming forever. So I decided, I'm going to start doing a little bit of research because I wonder if the numbers really connect to this. And I especially started looking up studies from Scandinavia, and they just don't match. A lot of what we're being told isn't true. I mean, as my friends like to put it, don't drink the Kool-Aid. So we're gonna talk about both. We're gonna talk about the physical symptoms and using hypnosis to work with like the hot flashes and the focus and the weight loss, but also just a little reality check here. How much of this are we just being sold?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which is, I mean, and that's so smart that you brought that up because we know anyone who's been in our industry for any amount of time knows that's with everything, right? I mean, you go back to when we were kids and all the research first came out about smoking, and the news reports kept saying things like it's as addictive as heroin, and so like people had this thing that they just couldn't quit smoking in a pleasant
Yes,
way, right? Like
right.
it happens over and over again. It's like we need the terror of the human experience. We can't just have a nice,
Oh, I know.
peaceful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's also some other really interesting research because for the longest time we thought that humans were the only creatures that had menopause, that would have females past reproductive age in the society.
Yeah.
And this turns out to not be true.
Come on.
We're discovering more and more animals, especially whales, that have females that are far past breeding age. And what we've discovered is in those pods of whales, they have higher birth rates. All of the whales have a higher fat content because they know where to find the food, and they have a higher higher successive birth rate because of the females in there. So we
Get out of here.
animals, yeah, isn't this cool?
How do we translate that to people? How do we help people get benefits like that?
I think even that message is important that,
That's true. Yeah.
women past child rearing age and childbearing age have an important role. I mean, this can be one of their richest parts in their lives right now. They have got the freedom, they've got the education, they've got the experience. They should go out there and be embracing that and just, living free and having fun and, You know, this is something to be celebrated, not to be horrified by, you know?
Oop, yes.
I'm sorry, I was waiting for a reaction.
Yeah, I had temporarily muted I have a
Yes,
creaky
yes.
chair, so sometimes I have to mute if I'm going to shift to my chair. I'm sorry. Yeah, because there is, right? There's this thing of like, if you, you're devalued. And so like, we always want to find more ways to bring people's sense of value back. So that makes sense. It's a
Right.
great position we're in to do that as people who work with suggestions all the time. So that makes
Exactly,
sense.
exactly. Especially, you know, because we're dealing with, you know, also the cultural beliefs of the value of women. So when they're coming in and working with things like when you get your clients in and they're working with the physical manifestations of menopause, they're also dealing with all of the cultural ramifications. You know, who am
Yes.
I now? What is my value? Am I not, you know, perceived as attractive? You know, oh no. And these things that we're taught are so important, when really it's who you are as a person and what you bring
Yeah.
to the world, and the world is a better place because you're on it and you have this great value, and it's our job to really let people celebrate that
Yeah.
and be involved in life and feel good.
Yeah. That's it right there, you
That's it.
guys.
That's what we do.
That's it. August 11th, 9 a.m., 1 hour seminar. It's covered in your convention fee registration that you paid already. You go, you hang out with Amye. And this is one of those things, right? Like, we're at the minimum, you know, it's just a way to broaden your knowledge of all the different ways that you can use hypnosis to help people. If you're looking for a niche to develop, I mean, we're in the age of the boomers and the generation right after the boomers, where we've got a lot of people in these generational areas that are dealing with that stuff, right? And so big marketplace, and a marketplace that's not going to go away. Like, it's
No,
just not
not
going to
at
go
all.
away.
Yeah, and I've got some
So
research that a lot of people in America may not have seen yet. So we'll be bringing that to the table too. It'll be
cool.
really interesting when you actually get the numbers out there and you get the facts against the mythology.
Vikings don't get menopause is what you're
I,
that would be a cool. I want the t-shirt rights to
I was just thinking that. That's okay. Next year, that's the name of this.
that. All right, thank you, Amy, for making time for me. It's good to talk with you again.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
All
You're
right,
awesome.
bye-bye.
Bye.